It's a story. If anything, it's a sitcom trope. Dad buys mom a vacuum cleaner for Christmas. Dad buys mom something for the kitchen, something for the house for Christmas. Trying to be quote unquote a good husband. He's not being a good husband. He's buying something for himself and he's wrapping it up in a way that, yeah, we all know what's going on here. The fact of the matter is that approach is the exact same thing with what Facebook is doing right now with podcasting. We're getting near the end of 2021 and Facebook has integrated some interesting podcast implementations inside of Facebook. And what's interesting is it looks good. It's attractive. It's something that I would appreciate, if you will. But the fact of the matter is, it's not that good. And the fact of the matter is, just like the vacuum cleaner, it's not for the podcaster. It's not for really the audience. It's for Facebook. Realize that Facebook does what is good for Facebook. How does that work? What does that mean? We'll chat about that. Now, three types of people listening to the podcast right now. Those of you who are already a subscriber to the podcast report, thank you. These first couple of seconds will be redundant, but when we get later on in the episode, it will actually be worth it. So hang in there. Some of you who are watching this live on Facebook or on any of the social media platforms, welcome. Good to have you on. This is going to be fun. Some of you, hopefully, in theory, strategically, possibly, are listening to this through the new Facebook podcast app. And you're the ones I want to speak to specifically now. If you are listening in the podcast app, we're about 3 minutes into this or less into this, and you are about ready to leave because that's about how much time you spend at Facebook. If you head out to the podcastreport.com/Facebook 2021, you'll see an article we did about how long people stay even for video, even for moving things. You're about to leave. And what I want to do is I want to tell you, go ahead and leave Facebook. I don't care. But what I do want you to do is I want you to subscribe to the podcast report. And the podcast report is wherever you get your podcasts, or you can go to thepodcastreport.com and click on any of those links. Now, you see what I did there? We'll chat about this in a second. Okay, back to the podcast. The podcastreport.com/Facebook 2021 will have commentary on this, and we'll have the ability for the links that we chat about, the Medium article that I discuss, anything that I come up in this free form rant or rambling, if you were. The what, the so what, and the now what. Facebook's been promising this for a while. They've integrated podcasting right into currently only the Facebook app. It's attractive. It's good looking. And you can listen to podcasts inside of Facebook. Apparently there's some sharing and there's some clipping and there's some other things that you can do inside of Facebook. And the idea here, the concept here is that as people are doing their Facebook experience, we know that most people are on the app. So that's why it starts on the app. As people are doing their Facebook experience on the app, what is going on is they are now going to consume your podcast. That is, for lack of a better explanation, what's in it for you. But the so what? It's not going to work. People don't stay on Facebook to listen to audio. Nobody is going to click inside of the Facebook app, listen to the audio, go, oh, this is good, and keep it going. Yes, if you scroll through, it goes down the bottom, but the amount of time spent on the Facebook app is pretty minimal. Facebook, as if you play with Facebook at all, is a quick hit. You dive in to get something, a picture of somebody's new baby, or a shout out to something, or a review, or who was the latest restaurant. You go in, you go out. That's the way Facebook works. You're not in Facebook for the long term. And because you're not in Facebook for the long term, you are going to be hanging up on podcast episodes before they're done. Lately, the podcast report, I've been trying to do about 10 minutes long. Most of you inside of Facebook who grab this are going to hang up. Even more of you who do the video version of this are going to hang up. We need to chat about that. Now, that hanging up, that's not just a feeling. That's not a gut reaction. That is some work that we've done. And go ahead and take a look at it. If you've got any videos inside of Facebook, just go ahead and look at how long they stay. I actually had one person that I worked with on this who told me that they were, quote unquote, killing it on Facebook. Yet if we looked at the average time of consumption, the average percentage of consumption for somebody who was, quote unquote, killing it was 0%. Now, they had thousands and thousands of views, but it was people coming in really quickly and then getting out, people coming in really quickly and getting out. That's what is happening inside Facebook. So the now what? The issue here is now they're going to see your podcast inside of Facebook. They're going to be reminded of your podcast inside of Facebook, and they are going to many times feel like they've listened to enough of your episode inside of Facebook for it to be worth it, and they don't have to listen to the whole thing. this is going to do some damage. This is going to cause some problems. If you remember at the beginning of this episode, and if you're watching this live on whatever streaming platform I'm at, go ahead and click rewind and get to the beginning of this. I told everybody to go ahead and subscribe. When somebody listens to the first couple of minutes at the best, really the first 30 seconds, you want to tell them that this is available somewhere else. There are a lot of people who, I'm among them, on Facebook reluctantly have to. It's where I check in. I was chatting on one of my podcaster Slack groups this morning, and everybody was lamenting about the fact that they're only on Facebook because they have to be. And I think that is a number of us. I know that is a number of us, and that's going to be a large percentage of your audience as well. So what you want to do is you want to leverage Facebook to remind people that your podcast is out there. In the past, we've chatted about how you might want to think about your podcast as like Pandora. People do that thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing, and you only really get that first 5 seconds to make an impression on the podcast. It's going to be the same thing. If anything, it's going to be more important inside of Facebook. If they stay inside of Facebook listening to podcasts, you're never going to get more than 30 seconds at a pop. You're not going to get out your message. You're not going to give your audience what they need. If you get them to go from Facebook to something else, then you're going to be at a good place, and you're going to have to tell them to do that. You're going to have to give them a reason to do that. You're going to have to give them a benefit for doing that. And then once they realize they have that, you are good to go. I would hit that reality about 1 out of every 4 episodes, because the amount of podcasts that's going to come from it is pretty minimal, but the amount of people that are in it, you can't deny the numbers of Facebook. So call this title, How to Leverage How Little Facebook Has Done for Your Podcast. You didn't want this. You didn't ask for this. You can't necessarily use it, just like mom with the vacuum cleaner at Christmas, but you can now leverage the fact that Facebook is going to ping people on a fairly regular basis about your podcast. And if you get them to leave Facebook and consume your podcast on a traditional podcasting platform, you will do well. If you think that, the downloads, and word's still out, we don't even know how the downloads are going to count from Facebook. And is Facebook cashing in? Is Facebook doing things? We don't really even know to this point. But if you count on Facebook to get this done, if you count on Facebook to build your audience, if you count on Facebook to do these things, it's not going to happen. Remember, Facebook is the business of selling your competition, or selling your audience to your competition. YouTube is in the business of selling your audience to your competition. Instagram is in the business of selling your audience to your competition. Apple is in the business of selling iPhones. Android, that whole world, you can make different things of that, but you want to get them to pick up, you want to get them to move, and you want to use Facebook kind of bringing up the topic as the leverage for that to happen. There's been an episode of the Podcast Report. You can find the notes and everything at thepodcastreport.com/Facebook 2021, because it's the latest that Facebook has done in 2021. I'll do the link to that Medium article where we talked about the numbers, and we will go from there. If you have been watching this on any of the streaming platforms, I'm playing with Restream today. Recently put myself out at YouTube. Haven't done that for a while. Put myself out at LinkedIn and that kind of thing. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and we will go from there. So again, Facebook, no good for your podcast, but leverage the dings to get people to jump over to your podcast. Have a great one. We'll chat next week. Bye now.